Hey everyone, so I am just getting my sangria on here tonight in my kitchen, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Tipsy teas and make a sangria to show you guys just kind of a basic method for making it. And of course there's like endless possibilities when it comes to all the teas and different fruits and juices and the things that you can do. It's really fun, and I love creating my own recipes. So what I have done here tonight is I am making us a white wine cherry sangria. So I have used our cherry sangria fruit tea. Now all of our fruit teas are just pieces of fruits and berries and whatnot. There is no actual tea in them. So we have some that have sangria in the name. That just suggests that those ones would make a really nice sangria with the wine. But any of them can be used. And these sangria teas can also just be used as a nice iced tea or hot cup of tea as well. So what I am doing is I have used my sweet tea pitcher. This is my most favorite pitcher. I use this one all the time. It is 2 liters and the lid has a strainer in it. So when you make iced teas and sangrias and whatever, you don't have to remove your tea leaves. You can just leave your tea leaves right in there because when you pour, they get strained out. So this is a pitcher that I use all the time. It's my fave. And it looks really nice with the sangrias as well. So you can actually fit 2 full bottles of wine in here if you wanted to just have a flavored wine sangria. But what I do is I mix and match wine with sparkling water or ginger ale or things like that. So my favorite way to do this is to use a sweet wine. I'm not a sweet wine drinker, so if you're also not, I'm just going to explain to you why I find it turns out better. I like, for a white wine, normally to drink, I like a Pinot Grigio. I like things that are a little bit drier, but I just found that the sweet wines make a much nicer sangria. So I always steep my tea directly in the wine for a minimum of 4 hours to begin with. And you can steep that overnight. You can steep that for 2 days. It really doesn't matter. You can't really oversteep that. Now, what you could do is just funnel your tea right into your bottle of wine, lay it on its side in the fridge and let it steep in there. But if you've got the pitcher, then pour your wine right into the pitcher and let that steep. So this has been sitting for about 4 hours. And now what I'm gonna do, because I don't like super sweet. So I like to mix the sweet wine with the sparkling water, and I find that it's just perfect for me. If you like things sweeter though, I would say to use a sweet wine and then use a Sprite or a ginger ale or something like that to just keep it on the up and up with sweetness. So what we're gonna do here is pour in my sparkling water. And I would do this, like if you're gonna serve this to guests, I would, about an hour maybe before you're gonna serve it, I would kind of get all these ingredients in the jug and give it an hour to just kind of all steep together and for all the flavors to mingle. This tea has tons of flavor, so I actually used only 2 pot scoops. This is our pot scoop here, so it's about 1.5 tablespoons. So I put 2 scoops of tea right in the pitcher, and I poured my wine in, let that steep for 4 hours. So poured in my 2 bottles of sparkling water. I'm gonna add a little bit of fruit juice. I've got orange juice handy, so that's what I'm gonna use. You can use whatever you want. Pineapple juice would have been nice in there. It really doesn't matter. And then orange slices, I always like to add in a little bit of fruit and frozen fruit as well. If you've got frozen fruit handy in the freezer, it really doesn't matter what. I've just got some strawberries and mangoes here. So I am going to put those in, and look at how beautiful that looks and how delicious that looks. That is all you do. That is it. So, like I said, I would let this sit for about an hour, but I have my wine glass here, and I think we need to test it out and see how it is. You could add a little ice to that too if you wanted to keep it nice and cold. It is perfectly delicious. Now, if you were a red wine person, say you are a dry red wine person, I am, and you want to make a sangria and you want it to be dry. So what I would do with that is I would use a bottle of red wine, I would use about 2 cups of water, just cold water. Put that all into your pitcher. Add a couple of scoops of one of the fruit teas. The Berry Mania is an excellent fruit tea that's good with red and white wine. It is really, really flavorful. It's got elderberries and currants, I think. I'm just looking at the book here. And it's just got tons of flavor, and it's awesome in red wine. So then you would put your 2 to 3 scoops of tea in there, and then let that steep. I would just, throw that in the fridge overnight. It doesn't have to go in the fridge. If you like your red wine at room temperature, just leave it out. Let that steep overnight. And then before you're gonna serve it, add in some nice orange wedges, maybe some blueberries or frozen fruit. And if you had some orange liqueur, that's actually really nice in there, especially with the red wine. A shot of that, and you could put the shot of orange juice or another juice in there as well. So that is kind of like the basic method for making a wine sangria. You've kind of got like a bottle of wine, and then you're adding water or sparkling water or ginger ale or Sprite, and some fruit juice. And then you can just add in your fruits. So it's really simple, and it's really delicious, and it's really fun to serve, and they're just so pretty. So if you're not a wine drinker, I also have tons of other kinds of recipes for tipsy teas that you can make and you can use in this pitcher. For example, the citrus mint sangria fruit tea is lovely. It's really citrusy. It's got a nice hint of mint to it. And I often make that one in this pitcher. I put 2 scoops of my tea in. I fill my pitcher about 3/4 of the way with ginger ale. And then I add a couple shots of gin, and I put in like grapefruit, lemon, and lime wedges. And it is just super citrusy and delicious. And if you're steeping something like that that's carbonated, it only needs to steep for like 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll have tons of flavor. So you don't have to worry about your ginger ale going flat if you steep it. You don't want to steep it for hours because it will go flat on you. So like 15, 20 minutes, and it's amazing. So you can do that with any of the fruit teas. You can do a ginger ale or a sparkling water, add in some nice citrus slices and a couple scoops of one of the fruit teas, and just let that steep. And it is a really, really fun drink. You can steep your teas right in lemonade. That is another favorite of mine. I often just like make a homemade lemonade in this pitcher, and I add a couple scoops of tea. Like for example, and I have some of these recipes that I'm gonna share too. For example, I have a bluest blueberry lemonade. So it's the bluest blueberry black tea, cold steeped in lemonade overnight, and then add in some blueberry vodka and some lemon slices and some blueberries, and it is awesome. I do the exact same thing with the peaches and cream white tea, and I add in some frozen peaches and lemon slices, and some peach schnapps. It is fabulous. So, I mean, there's like 100 teas, and there's a lot of fruity teas, and so really there's endless possibilities. And I do have some recipes that I'll share, but it is just a ton of fun. Oh, I think I froze up there for a second. It is just a ton of fun, and you don't have to make a whole pitcher. Of course, you can just make yourself a glass of a drink. You can use a steeping sack with your tea and, a glass of ginger ale or a glass of sparkling water, and make yourself a little tea cocktail. So I will continue to share some fun stuff with you guys. And if you have any questions about making a sangria, please just let me know. And I wish you were here sharing a glass with me tonight.